Instead of going live. But I appreciate your patience. All right, here we are, relatively in focus. How we doing, everybody? There are a couple things I want to talk about today. Again, I'm going to keep it relatively short. And again, I am still fine-tuning the live streaming setup. I need to do screen sharing to do this properly, but I haven't quite figured that out. I think I need an HDMI splitter, which I just ordered on Amazon to show up tomorrow. Okay, let's talk about the Bitcoin price. That's what everybody cares about. It's an interesting thing that everybody cares about the price because caring about the price turns this somewhat into a commodity like other things. It's subject to swings, it's subject to market manipulation in a way, maybe not as much as other commodities or assets, but focusing on the price is a double-edged sword. It drives adoption and interest, but it kind of neglects the actual value of the thing. Bitcoin's real value is censorship resistance, it's money transfer and preservation, it's being able to transfer value anywhere in the world at any time with to any degree, big or small, to anyone with an internet connection, right? Hyper focusing on the price and thinking that that's the only thing that matters. I don't know, it kind of misses the point. Maybe it's a Trojan horse, right? Maybe this is something that gets people interested because they're like, oh, I can get rich. And then they learn about the censorship resistance and the money preservation qualities, the digital gold qualities. Anyway, let's look at the price. We are down. Of course we are. We're down over the last 6 months. We are in a bear market by all appearances. And the technical analysts that I have looked to and trusted in the past, I'm no hardcore technical analyst myself. I need to spend a little more time learning that skill. But I am persuaded that my perma bull attitude is not going to be constructive here. By all appearances, we very much are in a bear market. So we should probably behave as such and plan as such. And if we look at past bear markets, my value right now is stored primarily in Bitcoin. I do have some other stuff, but in much smaller amounts. I have some Giddy because I'm staking on Giddy. I have a little bit of Ethereum because, Ethereum is very popular. It's number 2 by market cap. There's an incredible amount of development happening on that platform. But if we just look at the price and we figure out where we are, it very much looks like we are at the first, the front half of a bear market. So I have no real anticipation that we are going to see parabolic value growth in Bitcoin or the asset class broadly of cryptocurrencies in the immediate future. That said, when that does eventually come, and it could be weeks, it could be months, it could be a year from now, when it does eventually come, I don't want to miss that, right? I don't want to be in some other token trying to play the bear market, trying to gain value with all of my portfolio when the market finally does take off. Because when Bitcoin does take off, everything else is going to be trailing it and following it, and you won't be able to catch up with some other asset. It's not going to happen, right? So I don't think Bitcoin's going to go north, but I do think Bitcoin's dominance is going to stay high and even get higher for the foreseeable future. Okay. So I'll play the field. I will stake into other currencies, but I will not do that in a meaningfully high degree unless I have a quick exit strategy to get back into Bitcoin with the vast majority of my portfolio. And the simpler way to do all this is to just keep most of your portfolio in Bitcoin or arguably in dollars. I know dollars are melting in value, but they might maintain value a little bit better than the volatility of the cryptocurrency market right now. Another way of saying all this is I think Bitcoin might go lower, right? It shouldn't shock any of us if it continues to go a little bit lower, because we look at previous bear markets, it's done exactly that. Scott Melker, the Wolf of All Streets, as he is known on Twitter, he has a YouTube channel. It's pretty good stuff. He repeatedly says that bottoming is a process. It doesn't just happen all at once. You don't get a, V-shaped recovery. Man, when have we ever seen that? This is going to be something that takes some time down low and then recovers and slowly starts to rise until it does go parabolic. It's slow and then it's all at once. Okay, that's my thought on the price. I am still kind of playing around in the Giddy staking pool There is still some money to be made there, and it has been good to me. The price of the Giddy token is down significantly. My returns are down significantly, but it is still relative to other options and other opportunities in front of me. That is still very much worth my time and attention. Let's look at some other things. BTC Gandalf on Twitter said, if demand for real estate increases, they build more houses. If demand for gold goes up, they mine more gold. If demand for Bitcoin goes up, then what? He leaves it blank. Fill in the blank. Well, of course, we can't just mint more Bitcoin, but I actually think this may be a problem for the Bitcoin network. Glassnode, which does chain analysis on Bitcoin and other blockchains, indicates that more than 12 million Bitcoin have not been moved in the last 12 months. Bitcoin's circulating supply has never been more illiquid than right now. Okay, so we only have 21 million Bitcoin ever to be minted. There are a couple million of that are yet to be minted and will be minted over the next 100 years, more than 100 years. All right. So that brings us down to 19 million. There are 2 or 3 Bitcoin that have probably just been lost eternally, forever. Okay. So from 19 down to 16 million Bitcoin roughly in circulation. 12 million of those Bitcoin have not been moved at all in the last 12 months. Now, I believe that the person posting this on Reddit, where I originally saw it, is posting this as an indicator of Bitcoin's strength, that it is locked up, that it is not moving, that the supply is illiquid, and that means that the price will go up. I believe that that is, generally speaking, true. I also think that it is a long-term problematic trend for Bitcoin. The world broadly is concerned with wealth centralization, right? This is a decentralized network, but if we talk about who actually owns and controls the majority of coins, it is a vanishingly small fraction of people. It really is. And in the broad world economy, the concentration of wealth disparity is a huge driver of unrest, socio-political unrest. Wars are fought over this, right? The French Revolution was fought over this. The royalty were rich and the poor were starving. Let them eat cake. Okay? Bitcoin was supposed to be the people's money, and in its functional operation it is. But in who actually owns and controls it, vanishingly small percentage of people. Now, given the option, you want to be one of those people. Really, you do. You want to have censorship resistant money that you hold and nobody else has access to, no matter what. No matter how many computers, no matter what NSA algorithm. To this point, the way Bitcoin is constructed, nobody else on earth can get it if you securely hold it and do it properly. That's great. But if you're one of a small handful of people around the globe who has it and everybody else wants it, the end game of that is violence and war. So I actually think that this is a huge problem for Bitcoin. I don't want to give up my Bitcoin. I don't want to, forfeit it, but I almost wish there was a way to wave a magic wand and to distribute it more widely. It sounds like I'm talking about taxation, right? Tax the rich and give to the poor. But that, that's its own kind of injustice. So I don't have a good answer here. I just see unrest on the horizon brewing with 12 million Bitcoin that have not moved at all in the past 12 months. And the knowledge that we have that it's a very small fraction of people relative to the global population who actually control that. Ray Dalio is at Davos. He talked about Bitcoin and blockchain. He says blockchain is great. Let's call it digital gold. I like the term digital gold, but Ray Dalio, I'm less and less impressed with Ray Dalio. I understand that he's rich, so is Warren Buffett. But a lot of these older people are frankly having a very hard time wrapping their heads around the Bitcoin revolution. If you look at Christine Lagarde, who is the head of the European Central Bank, she recently said that Bitcoin doesn't have any value, one, and that it needs to be regulated, two. Well, first of all, she's talking about both sides of her mouth, right? If it doesn't have any value, then why do you need to regulate it? If it doesn't have any value and people are not interested, then people won't be interested in it. They won't use it. If it doesn't have any value, then it's not worth your attention. So why do you need to regulate it? These people do this all the time. She's talking out of both sides of her mouth. This is doublespeak. This is political gamesmanship. Don't believe a word that she says. She doesn't like it because it's a threat to the entire institutional framework that she's worked within her entire life. It threatens to undermine everything that she has built in her life. Probably for the world's benefit, if you ask me, but she doesn't like it. Fair enough. But it has also come out that her son invests in cryptocurrency and is quite a fan. Interesting. You know who else is like that? Peter Schiff, the eternal promoter of gold. Peter Schiff, the guy who will never get on Bitcoin, never support Bitcoin no matter what. He's I used to have a lot more respect for Schiff than I do now. Back when 2008 collapse, he kind of predicted it. He wrote a book about it. But now he's just kind of a joke. But his son, Spencer Schiff, is all in on cryptocurrency. Do you see a pattern here? I posted something on LinkedIn a while ago. I think I mentioned this in a previous video. You've got people like Warren Buffett and Charlie Munger who talk about cryptocurrency as rat poison. They hate it. They'll never touch it. It's not a productive asset. It doesn't purport to be a productive asset. A monetary instrument is not a productive asset in the same conventional sense as, say, like a factory, right? These guys are talking about it like it's rat poison. Bro, you made your money investing in Coca-Cola. You're selling acidic sugar water to people. You really think that you're making the world a vastly better place through your investments? Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies are a revolution in monetary instruments that are being experimented with right now. It's a Cambrian explosion. And yes, maybe 99% of them will go extinct, but the remaining 1% that survive will completely revolutionize the entire world and how people engage with and interact with and understand money and currency. That's happening right now. The fact that somebody like Charlie Munger and somebody like Warren Buffett don't see that and just call it rat poison, to me, ugh, I gotta say, guys, I'm a little bit ageist here. I don't expect old people to understand this. It's been demonstrated to me again and again that somebody who is deeply vested in the existing monetary structure is going to have a really hard time understanding, accepting, and appreciating what's happening right now in the cryptocurrency world. That's frustrating for me, but it's the reality. Back to Ray Dalio, he's saying that let's call it digital gold. Bro, cameras are just cameras. We stopped calling them digital cameras a while ago. At some point, the digital is going to completely overtake the legacy system that you're used to. We're not going to call it digital anything, just like we don't call cameras digital cameras. It's just a camera, right? Instead, we say film cameras because those are the minority. Those are the legacy system that people have basically left in the dust. If you're playing with a film camera, that's cool. I actually totally dig film cameras, but it's a throwback. It's an affect that you're choosing because it's an interesting, antiquated format. Okay. Cryptocurrency is going to do the same thing to the monetary structure. We're not going to call it digital gold, just like we're not going to call cameras digital cameras. Well, that's what I got for today, team. I'm going to figure out screen sharing so we can do a shared visual cue on everything that I'm talking about, because I'm looking at it on my laptop, but I got to get an HDMI splitter. I got to figure out the software. There are a handful of pieces I'm still putting into place. We'll talk again soon. Leave your comments down below. I will address those. In fact, there are a couple I know I need to address today, answering your thoughts and questions. Let me know your hopes, fears, dreams, and ambitions, and we'll talk again soon. Thanks, team.